starboard ships, McNards, and Raiders before they blast you. The Xylons are back. Those space waste snakes, villains of Venus, Saturnian scoundrels. They're swarming through the galaxy in huge forces, attempting another takeover. They've got to go, and we need you to go get them. But it's a hush-hush mission. If the Xylons guess you're onto them, you're a goner. So the official report says you're out to find the lost planet Solaris and rescue the Atari Federation pioneers stranded there. But if the Xylons reach Solaris before you do, they'll destroy it. You've got to hyper-warp from quadrant to quadrant, facing vicious attackers such as Cogulant Star Pirates, Planet Destroyers, and Cobra Fleet. But don't worry, your fight at the Star Cruiser is specially outfitted with a galactic scanner and plenty of photon torpedoes. Just don't let the Xylons destroy a Federation planet, or your quadrant mutates into a terrifying red zone. Ready? Then hop into the Star Cruiser, rev the engine, and go. And remember, if anything flies your way, blast it. Good luck, Commander. Altarian Federation Space Command out.
So yeah, after that rather bombastic intro, here we are in the game itself, as Solaris, my favourite Atari game back then, and now again, after playing it for the first time in many years, and then going through some other games in the library, yes, it's still my favourite, and as we prepare to take off, I'll show you why. Our boisterous commander has already explained the premise of the game, so I won't repeat that. But yeah, here we are on the scanner screen, making our way across sectors of space towards threats, encroaching on our space, and heading towards the Federation planet at the centre. It's a technically advanced game, especially for the Atari Atari 2600. But yeah, you have swarms of satellites. There are different threats, as were noted in the manual. The graphics and the sound effects are lovely. It's got they got that kind of like shrill Atari 2600 feel to them sometimes. They're taking a mothership. Taking down quite quickly. And yeah, I do hope that the planets we're smashing through weren't inhabited. Oh yes, it's become a red zone, look. So yeah, when it's a red zone, your controls are flipped, which is, yeah, a neat negative if you're not quick enough. We're back in the friendly sector again. The enemies will move around the grid. This is, if you've played things like Star Master on Atari, it's that same kind of premise, but Star Master didn't gel with me anywhere near as much as Solaris did. It's my favourite kind of this type of game where you go from sector to sector, engaging enemies across a map, and it's just some dynamic movement involved of enemies towards targets and stuff like that. There's one on a NES called, a similar one on a NES called, oh, I forgot the name. There's one on NES, and the Star Raiders, of course. Star Raiders 1 and 2, which is the same kind of stick. It was seemed to be like a very bit of a popular thing to do for a while. Entering hyperspace, you get if you maintain your course and don't like shimmer about, you get like a bit of speed, some kind of bonus. I'm not sure what it did yet. Heading towards the target now, I wonder. Yes. Another mothership there. Yeah, this fueled my imagination because I was very much into like sci-fi and space fighter things like Last Starfighter and whatnot, and this felt like, yeah, I really was too young Sharka. Very small Sharka. This felt like I was a star pilot. I was defending the galaxy against evil things, and I absolutely adored this game. I'm pretty sure it's what it led me on to, like things like Wing Commander and TIE Fighter in the end. And then there were hyperspace jump there. To a planet. And there are two types of planets in the game. One where you're basically assaulting a Xylon. They're called Xylon. Zilog 80s. Oh, rebellious Zilog 80s. Oh no. But yeah, the one we had to destroy all the enemies, and then you detonate their planet, and you get basically another planet will detonate somewhere in the galaxy and give you some extra bonus points and a bonus life. You get, for every enemy planet you detonate, you get an extra life, which is really nice. But then the other type is where you actually rescue pilots as well. And to stop your planets being detonated. Oh, low on fuel there. Oh no. Oh yes, the corridor. That's cool. This is yeah. There's so much going on in this game. So many different stages. It's bonkers when you compare some Atari. I mean, this is a very late one. This is when developers were still, it's from 1986, so this is well past when the Atari's in its prime, past the crash, and Atari was still trying to like wring out the last drops of goodness from the Atari and keep it going for as long as possible after like their 5200 and 7800 kind of like flopped. But yeah, by this point the developers knew how to use the Atari to its fullest and squeeze every drop of performance and whatnot out of the very, very small amount of space allowed on their ROM cards. I mean, like they started off 2K, just 2K, and then they doubled to 4K, and then like some of the later ones I think like 16K. I'll have to check the sizes of them. But yeah, it's just amazing what people could do with so little space, so little amount of code. Just optimizing it to its last legs. And this feels like, well, yeah, Solaris. We got Star Master then. Solaris does that. This game would not look out of place on a Commodore 64, and it's weird that it didn't get a port. It stayed, as far as I know, it stayed locked to the Atari. There wasn't a 5200 port or a 7800 or anything else. Star Raiders did make its way onto other computers. I think there's even an Atari ST port of Star Raiders 2. But yeah, it's a shame Solaris, that's another different game completely. Solaris didn't make the leap. One thing I like about this versus Star Master and some of the ones is like there's not so much use. There's no use in the Atari's like switches to do other functions. It's confined entirely to your joystick, which is really nice. The planet mission here. I didn't do when I was playing this. I didn't do very well on the planets at all. I pretty much like missed them all, and they all got detonated. But yeah, there's as far as I've gathered, I'm seeing myself, the map is the same each time, so you can actually map out each sector. And as our chief and federation whatnots said, our cover is to find the last planet of Solaris and rescue pilots along the way, destroying all these like evil invaders. But yes, so there's no like galactic panic. I've not actually finished it yet, so I have no idea if the actual game comes to a halt when you find Solaris, or if it's just like basically a high score change, because there is like a score thing in the back in the manual. Yeah, it's absolutely wonderful. It's like it's like my go-to Atari game. Pitfall 2 is lovely and technically accomplished as well in so many ways, but this feels like a game where there's more room to replay it. And I urge you to play it. Yeah, give it a go. To get your Atari carts or emulators and just play it.
This is Italian Federation Space Command. On behalf of the Space President, we would like to thank you for watching. Please follow Directive 001 and subscribe to this channel if you haven't already done so. Hitting the bell icon to be notified of future transmissions would be appreciated.